Happy Wednesday. How you doing? Hey, I want to talk to you today about purposes for God's blessing. 3 purposes for God's blessing. Everything God does, there's a purpose for. This is incredible stuff. God needs you to be blessed. He needs you to be blessed. I need you to be blessed. Our partners are the most blessed group of people in the country. The most blessed. And I need you to be blessed. And God really needs you to be blessed. He even takes pleasure in it. God takes pleasure in the prosperity or shalom or abundance of his servants. He gives God pleasure. Say this with me today. The rest of my life is the best of my life. The best of my life is the rest of my life. Everything I touch turns to gold. I am smart and getting smarter every day. I am extremely talented. Everything I do works out for me. I am a wonderful person. Pastor Jim is a wonderful pastor. Say that. Hey, there is nothing more exciting to me than speaking the blessing over God's people. Because that's what I'm called to do. Amen? And it's scriptural. God told me to do that. Not in an audible voice, but in his word. He said, this is how I want you to, and then he told me how to do it. Actually, he told every priest how to do it. It's just that nobody else ever saw that. They didn't see that. A couple have, because I've showed it to them. Amen? There is a purpose for God's blessing. Share this video with everybody you know. Nobody is teaching this stuff. We are talking about the wealthy place, getting you into and keeping you in the wealthy place. There's a wealthy place. Psalm 66 says, you have brought us out into a wealthy place. The children of Israel were brought and set down in a wealthy place, a land flowing with milk and honey. Well, we have a wealthy place too. I am in my wealthy place right now. I have been in my wealthy place for 8 years and so many months, 5 months. 8 years and 5 months. I'm telling you what, people, it's a wonderful place to live. It's a wonderful place to live. The purposes for God's blessing. Make sure you call me today if you need prayers answered. I get prayers answered. I get results. Number 2, call me if you do your offerings and donations today. I want to speak the blessing over you. There is a word-for-word blessing that is supposed to be spoken over God's people. And some of you have gotten a hold of that. And some of you are getting a hold of that. I am more determined than you are that you're going to be blessed. You absolutely have no idea of my determination factor when it comes to getting God's people blessed. That is my obsession, if you want to call it that. Everybody, that's my purpose. Right now, my purpose is to get God's people blessed and to get our country blessed. That's why I speak the blessing over our country. There's enough power in the name of Jesus to bless every man, woman, and child, and dog, and cat, if you're a cat lover, and cat in this country at the same time. God's purpose for the blessing. Number 1, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, God created, in 26, he created people. He said, let us create people after our image and our likeness and give them dominion. In verse 28, It says, and God blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Now, purpose number one for the blessing was to create the Garden of Eden. There is actually a Garden of Eden covenant. It's a covenant. The Garden of Eden is a place of rest. It's a place of abundance. It is a wealthy place. It's a place where everything you need comes to you. This is a real place. I'm telling you, it's believe me, when you get in there, you'll know you're in a wealthy place. It's a wealthy place. The wealthy place that I'm talking about is actually a Garden of Eden. Your own personal Garden of Eden. Here's the deal. When you really get into the blessing, and the blessing of the Lord comes upon you, it actually creates the Garden of Eden in your life. If you came here to our house, it wouldn't take you very long to realize this is our Garden of Eden. This is our Garden of Eden. Our Garden of Eden is our kingdom. It includes, for us, it includes our house, our church family, our real family, our natural family, our church family. This is our Garden of Eden. And this is where God wants us to live. He said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. He wanted the earth replenished, to be refilled, full of the Garden of Eden. Full of the Garden of Eden. The blessing of the Lord in Genesis 1:28 was meant to create the Garden of Eden over the entire earth. And it was to expand. And Adam was supposed to take care of it. He was supposed to tend the garden, him and his offspring and his seed. Had Adam not sinned, and if sin had not come into the earth, we would all still be living in the Garden of Eden right now. You would be living in a land of milk and honey, where everything just comes to you. And your assignment would be to tend the garden. Now, the garden, God's purpose, that purpose for God's blessing has never changed. One thing you have to understand about God is when God has a purpose for you, or God has a purpose for somebody, or God has a purpose for something, that purpose never changes. God has a purpose for this country. That purpose is not going to change. It doesn't change with who is running the country. That doesn't change God's purpose. His purpose is still going to win out, because that's his purpose. He has a purpose for Israel. Israel is to bring into the world Jesus and to bring back Jesus. That's God's purpose. God has a purpose for everything he does. He doesn't just do something. Everything he does has a purpose. So his purpose for the blessing, number one, is to create the Garden of Eden. Number two, God said to Abraham in Genesis 12, he says, I will bless you. Let me read it to you. He told Abraham, he says, leave your home and your country. He said, and I will make you, he says, and I will show, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great. In other words, Everybody will know who you are. Well, did God do that? We're still talking about Abraham. Here we are 4,500 years later. We're still talking about him. And you shall be a blessing. Number two, purpose for the blessing and purpose for God's blessing is for you to be a blessing to other people. Is that okay? Do you want to be a blessing? I guarantee you, all of our partners inside, and some of them, they talk to me about it, really want to be a blessing. They're doing everything they can to bless people and to get people blessed. And there's different ways to do that. A lot of different ways to do that. But that's the purpose. A huge purpose of the blessing is to be a blessing to other people. I will make you to be a blessing. Your purpose for the blessing is to be a blessing. And the more blessed you are, the more of a blessing you can be. Number two is to be a blessing. Number one purpose is for you to live in the Garden of Eden. This is incredible. Number three, are you ready for this? Number three, are you ready for this? The purpose for God's blessing. Right here. It says, get a load of this. The blessing of the Lord, it makes rich. And he adds no hard work, or what the Bible in King James says, sorrow. The word sorrow means toil to it. Number three purpose of the blessing is to make you rich. That horrible four-letter word. The most horrible four-letter word in the English language. R-I-C-H. Rich. Rich means plenteous in goods. Lots of nice stuff. Good things. More, and it tells us in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8, more than you need. More than enough. It doesn't, now we're not talking about millions and billions of dollars, although that's nice. Don't despise people who have that. You may be one of them. Sooner than you think. You don't know. I don't know what God's going to do in your life. But the word rich means more than enough. Enough to pay your bills and money left over to be a blessing to other people. That is rich. And that is what God wants for you. He wants you to be rich. He even tells us in Psalm 37:25, it says, God takes pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. So he uses the blessing. The blessing will cause you to become rich, to have more money than you need. And you don't have to pursue money. Jesus said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything will be given to you. Pursue the kingdom. Pursue Jesus. Pursue the blessing. And the blessing will take care of you. Learn to have faith in God's blessing, because that blessing will provide for you in abundance, and everything will just come to you. Three purposes for God's blessing. Was that good today? Call me today if you need your prayers answered. I'm going to stay on this till I get everybody into their wealthy place. And believe me, if you haven't gotten it yet, it's coming. I'm going to make sure of it. I'm determined you are going to live a curse-free, blessed life.